Salam, peace be upon you. The Story of Change, Part 11. How far can change spread? Where we are. We have been building something careful. We started with a cup. The cup was whole. Then the cup was broken. Everyone saw it happen. But we refused to say, time passed, so it changed. That felt too easy, too magical, too hard for strangers to check. Instead, we built folders called state packages. Each folder holds a snapshot of something at one moment: what we looked at, how we looked, what we are allowed to claim, how uncertain we honestly are, and the trail so anyone can repeat our looking. Then we built receipts called update certificates. These receipts prove that one folder legally leads to another folder. They pass through 8 gates, like 8 checkpoints. If a receipt fails a gate, we do not accept it. We write a refusal certificate instead and put it in a special drawer called the negative archive, so we remember what did not work. Then we build something like an immune system. If we discover an old receipt was wrong, we revoke it. And we revoke everything that depended on it. We call this a revocation dossier. This keeps our story clean. Then we built a graph. Dots are folders, lines are receipts. The whole drawing is called graph G sub U. We said, a universe is not a place, it is a connected record. If two dots are connected by lines, they are in the same universe story. If not, they are separate. Then we built order, not from clocks, from chains. We said, S1 comes before S2 if you can walk from the first folder to the second folder by stepping along receipt lines. That is all. That is enough. No time needed, just dependency. Now we have many folders, many receipts, many chains, many connected stories. And now we face a new question. The question: if something changes in one place, how far can that change spread? Can it reach everything? Can it touch every folder in the whole graph? In ordinary life, we might say, it depends on speed. If you wait long enough, anything can reach anything. But we do not have speed yet. We do not have distance yet. We only have folders and receipts and chains. So we must answer differently. We must answer with only what we have. The big idea here is what we discover. A change can only spread along paths that have legal receipts with open gates. That is it. That is the whole rule. If there is no path of valid receipts from folder A to folder B, then a change in A cannot affect B. Not slowly, not quickly, not ever. Because there is no certified connection, no line in the graph, no way to walk from one to the other. If there is a path, then change can spread along that path, but only if each step is allowed by its own gates. Each receipt has gates. Each gate checks something. Is this the right kind of change? Is the passport valid? Is the uncertainty honest? Does the boundary permit crossing? So the question, how far can change spread, becomes a question about the graph, about the lines, about the gates on each line. No distance, no speed, only connectivity and permission. The school rumor example. Imagine we are standing outside a school classroom. Inside the classroom, someone whispers a rumor. It is a change in information. One student heard something new. Now we ask, can that change spread to the whole school? Maybe, but not automatically. It can spread only along legal connections. If the classroom door is closed and no one goes out, the rumor cannot reach the hallway. If the hallway door is locked, it cannot reach the playground. If the playground has no students today, it cannot reach another class. So we see something simple. Propagation needs paths, not distance paths, not neater paths, just connection paths. Now here is the trap. People imagine influence as magic air. They think it spreads everywhere because it exists. But we refuse. We say, show the chain. If we want to claim the rumor reached the next class, we must show a public chain of connection. A student left the room. This is a boundary crossing, and we need a receipt showing it was allowed. The student spoke to another student. This is an interaction, and we need a receipt showing the conversation happened. The other student heard it. This is a change in their state, and we need a receipt showing their folder updated. If that chain cannot be shown, we must say, propagation is undefined here. Not maybe it happened. Not it probably spread. Undefined. The light switch example. Imagine we are in a house. There is a light switch on the wall. We flip it. The living room light turns on. Now a child might ask, can this switch also turn on the street lights outside? The answer is no. Not because the street is far away, not because speed is too slow, but because there is no connection path in the wiring. The switch is connected to one circuit. The street lights are on a different circuit. Even if the street is right outside the window, the switch cannot affect it. This is the key lesson. Distance is not the real limiter. Connection is the real limiter. In our folder language, the living room is one domain. The street system is another domain. There is no legal chain of receipts connecting the folder living room light on to the folder street lights on. So propagation is not certified. If someone insists it could happen, we ask, show the adjacency proof. Show the update certificate chain. Show each gate report. If they cannot, we refuse. We do not argue. We simply refuse with evidence. The important turn. Now we say something that sounds strange at first, but becomes obvious. We do not start with distance. We start with connectivity. Distance is not the reason things are connected. Connection is the reason we can talk about distance at all. If you want to know how far a change can spread, you do not measure meters or miles. You look at the graph. You trace the paths. You check the gates on each path. If you cannot trace a path, the change cannot spread there. Period. This is clean. This is honest. This uses only what we have. The rope with knots. Imagine a long rope with knots. We pull one end of the rope. The pull spreads through the rope, knot by knot. But what if there is a cut in the rope? Then the pull cannot cross the cut. It stops. Now imagine the rope is not physical rope. It is the chain of legal adjacency. Knots are state packages. Segments are update certificates. Cuts are places where adjacency is undefined or gates forbid passage. So a propagation limit is simply where the rope ends, the influence ends. Not because of distance, because of missing legal connection. This is what people later call causal cones. But we are not using cones of space and time, we are using cones of legality. A cone of legality means from this folder, these are the other folders we can reach by following only valid chains of update certificates with all gates passed. And beyond that, we cannot claim influence. The transformer guards. Now we add something important. Even when a path exists, not every change can travel along it. Each receipt has gates. One gate checks. What kind of change is this? Is it the kind that is allowed on this path? We call these checks transformer guards. Think of a bridge between two islands. The bridge has signs. No trucks over 5 tons. No pedestrians after dark. No animals without leashes. These are guards. They do not stop all traffic, they stop certain kinds of traffic. Transformer guards are like that. They say, this kind of change can pass here. That kind of change cannot. So a change might travel along a path until it meets a guard that says, stop. Then it stops. It cannot go further, even though the path continues. This is how the graph stays organized. Different kinds of change have different permissions. The mailroom example. Imagine a mailroom in a big building. Letters arrive. They need to go to different offices. But not all letters can go to all offices. Some offices only get mail from certain senders. Some offices only get packages, not letters. Some offices are closed on certain days. The mail sorter looks at each letter. The letter has a type. The sorter checks the rules for each office. If the rules allow that type, the letter goes through. If not, the letter stops. That is exactly what transformer guards do. They sort changes by type. They let some through, they stop others. So a change might travel through many folders, then meet a guard that says, no more. And that is the end. The change cannot reach further folders, even if paths exist. The no magic rule. Here is the rule we install. You cannot affect what you cannot legally connect. If there is no path of valid receipts from A to B, then nothing that happens in A can change B. Not through any force, not through any magic, not through any wish. If there is a path, but a guard says stop for this kind of change, then nothing that happens in A can change B through that path. This stops cheating. Cheating would be saying, I know they're not connected by receipts, but I feel they affect each other anyway. Or, everyone knows that everything affects everything eventually. We do not allow cheating. We only allow what can be checked. If you want to claim that A affects B, you must show the path. You must show the receipts. You must show each step past its gates. You must show each guard allowed this kind of change. No path, no effect. Path, but guard says stop, no effect. What about speed? Someone will say, but things do travel. Light travels, sound travels, they have speeds. How do we get speed without distance? Let us think carefully. Speed compares two things: how much change happened and how much distance was crossed. But we do not have distance yet. We only have folders and receipts. So speed cannot be primitive. Speed must be built later. First, we need distance. To get distance, we need rulers. Rulers are just more folders, snapshots of measuring sticks. To get speed, we need to compare ruler folders with clock folders with change folders, all connected by receipts. Speed is a derived thing. It comes after connectivity, after rulers, after clocks, after many receipts. We cannot start with speed. We must earn it. And here is the gate rule. If someone tries to claim influence using speed or distance as a primitive, without showing the receipt chains that earned them, the gate for no new primitives fails. The claim is refused. The hospital example. Now imagine we are in a hospital room. A monitor shows a patient's heartbeat. The number changes from 80 to 90. A nurse walks into the hallway and says, "The patient's heartbeat changed." Now, someone outside the hospital, across the city, says, "Because the heartbeat changed, the traffic light must change." That sounds silly. But people do similar things when they forget guards and connections. So we ask, can the heartbeat change propagate to the traffic light? In our folder world, it can propagate only if there is a legal chain of certified updates connecting these systems. Maybe a nurse calls an ambulance dispatcher. Maybe the dispatcher sends a signal. Maybe a city system changes traffic lights for ambulances. That is a chain of legal connections. It is not automatic. It is not influence at a distance. And notice again, the key is not meters. The key is allowed adjacency, transformer guards, certified chain. If no such chain exists, we must say propagation is undefined. The heartbeat change cannot affect the traffic light, not because of distance, because of missing legal connection. The deep principle. Here is the deep principle we are installing. Propagation is limited by certification, not by distance. A change can only go as far as there are certified paths with open gates, not one step further. Not because of speed limits, not because of time, because of paperwork, because of receipts, because of gates. This feels strange at first, because we are used to thinking of the world as a big container where everything can eventually touch everything. But think about it. How do you know something far away exists at all? Only through connections. Letters, phone calls, travelers, stories. If all connections stopped, that far thing would not be part of your world anymore. It would be separate, unreachable, not affecting you at all. Propagation lives in connections. The stress test. Now we must do a stress test, because it protects against cheating. Suppose we rename everything. We add the same extra label to every folder, like painting every house in the city the same new color. Does that change who can reach whom? No. If renaming changes reachability, then our propagation rule is broken. It depends on labels, not on real connections. So we have a built-in honesty check. If phi goes to phi plus c, if we shift every label by the same amount, the propagation limits must stay the same. If they change, we have a gate failure. The claim is refused. This is how we know propagation is about structure, not about names. Predictions. Now we make predictions. Not prophecies, not poetry. Predictions like receipts, things we can check. Prediction 1. If someone claims that a change in folder A influences folder B, they must provide an adjacency chain proof from A to B. If the chain is missing, the gate for adjacency legality must fail and produce a refusal certificate. Prediction 2. If two teams use the same passports and the same domains and the same uncertainty rules, they must agree on which folders are reachable from which. Because reachability is a property of certified paperwork, not personal belief. Prediction 3. If a claimed influence uses metric distance or light speed as a primitive without earning them through certified chains, the no new primitives gate must fail and the system must refuse the claim. Prediction 4. If we revoke an update certificate in the middle of a chain, then any propagation claim that used that chain must be revoked too. The graph must prune that path. Prediction 5. If a transformer guard says not allowed across this boundary type, then attempts to propagate across that boundary must fail with a guard violation log, not a vague explanation. These are simple. They can be tested, they can be audited. The failure signatures. Now we list the ways propagation claims can fail. Each one produces a refusal certificate that goes into the negative archive. Failure 1. Passport mismatch. We try to compare two folders that use different measurement rules, and the passports do not allow it. Failure 2. Adjacency undefined. We cannot prove the two folders are adjacent in any typed way. Failure 3. Boundary violation. We tried to cross a boundary that was not typed or not allowed. Failure 4. Sealing violation. We needed more detail than the folder's sealing allows, so the influence cannot be certified honestly. Failure 5. Uncertainty masquerade. We mistook noise for influence. The uncertainty budgets showed the change could be random. Failure 6. Transformer illegality. No registered transformer covers this transition, or the guard forbids it. Failure 7. Invariance failure. The claim changes when we rename everything, when phi goes to phi plus c, which means it depended on labels, not structure. Failure 8. True mystery. Only after many honest attempts, we find a publicly repeatable influence-like pattern that cannot be represented as a legal chain under any current rules. Then we do not pretend. We log it as an escape candidate for later layers to examine. The revocation clause. Now the revocation clause, calm and strong. Any propagation claim is revoked if it depends on metric distance or speed as a primitive instead of certified adjacency and guarded transformers. It claims influence without an adjacency proof chain. It ignores transformer guards. It fails the rename everything stress test. It hides uncertainty or uses noise as evidence. It cannot be replayed by another team using the same rules. It relies on a certificate that later gets revoked. When any of these happen, we do not argue. We revoke. We archive the revocation dossier. We correct the graph. The audit artifacts. At the end of part 11, we put this into the public notebook. The passport for every folder, so anyone knows how we measured. The domain for every folder, so anyone knows where we looked. The uncertainty for every folder, so anyone knows how precise we claim to be. The adjacency proof hashes for every step in every propagation chain, or a refusal certificate stating adjacency is undefined. The transformer guard declarations that were used, plus guard violation logs when attempts failed. A propagation limit report. A clear list of which folders are reachable from which, under which rules, within uncertainty. The stress test results. What stayed unchanged when we renamed everything, and what would count as failure. The gate reports for each attempted propagation claim. Links to the negative archive entries when propagation claims failed, so the failures remain public lessons. This is how our story stays real. This is how strangers can check. The main lesson. Let us say it one more time, in the simplest words we can find. A change can only reach places that are connected by receipts with open gates. That is it. No distance needed, no speed needed, just paths and permissions. In old stories, influence sounds like an invisible hand. In our story, influence is a road on a map. If there is a road, we can travel. If there is no road, we cannot claim travel. And roads are not drawn by imagination. Roads are drawn by certificates. So part 11 turns how far can change spread into a public question. Show me the road of update certificates. Show me the type that adjacency proves. Show me the transformer guard that allows it. Show me the gate reports. Then we will agree. If you cannot show that, we do not fight. We refuse. The lanterns at night. Let us end with a simple picture. Imagine you have a set of lanterns at night. Some lanterns are connected by wires. Some are not. If you turn one lantern on, the light can travel along the wires and turn on other lanterns that are connected. But lanterns with no wire connection will not change, even if they are very close. This is part 11. Not distance, not speed, not magic, only legal connection, only certified reachability, only guarded transformation. And now we say the log line one more time. Episode 14 gave us certified structure. Episode 15 gives us certified becoming. If becoming cannot be certified, it is not public reality. It is only a story. What comes next? Now we have propagation. We have a rule for how far change can spread, along certified paths, through open gates. We have a way to trace influence without assuming distance or speed. We have a list of ways propagation can fail, and we keep those failures in the negative archive so we learn from them. Next, we will ask, what kinds of paths exist? What are the types of connections? How do we name and register different kinds of change? Those are for later parts. For now, we rest here. We have propagation without distance, we have influence that anyone can trace, we have a clean foundation, and we built it all from one simple idea. A change can only spread along paths that have legal receipts with open gates. That is part 11. That is how far change can spread. That is our story so far. Always, peace be upon you.